The Azuchi-Momoyama period was a time when power shifted into the hands of Oda Nobunaga, who overthrew the Muromachi shogunate, and his successor Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who took over after Nobunaga's death. Although it lasted only about 30 years, the dynamic leadership of Nobunaga, a revolutionary figure, and Hideyoshi, who rose from humble origins to become the ruler of Japan, brought about some of the most dramatic changes in Japanese history. Oda Nobunaga. After toppling the Muromachi shogunate, Nobunaga set his sights on unifying the country. To secure military strength, he believed that economic power was essential, and he promoted castle-town economies by relaxing regulations. For instance, he abolished the protection fees that merchants used to pay to temples, local lords, and merchant guilds. He also stabilized currency by setting exchange rates for poor-quality coins and better ones. As a result, the economy flourished and Nobunaga's financial power grew, but so did the backlash from those who lost their benefits. Warrior monks, in particular, joined hands with rival warlords and formed powerful opposition forces. One reason these monks held influence was that many samurai feared Buddhist retribution, but Nobunaga didn't fear the power of religion at all. During the Sengoku period, Enryaku-ji joined forces with Nobunaga's enemies. In response, Nobunaga ordered the temple to be burned down, and it's said that thousands of people, including not just monks but also women and children, were massacred. In 1574, during the suppression of the Iko-Iki uprising led by Jodo Shinshu monks and followers, similar indiscriminate killings took place. Some records describe it as one of the most brutal mass killings in Japanese history. Nobunaga's extreme brutality earned him the nickname Demon King of the Sixth Heaven. However, recent archaeological studies at Enryaku-ji haven't found evidence of the large-scale destruction often described in historical accounts. Regardless, Nobunaga's rise marked one of the most revolutionary turning points in Japanese history. His ascent from a local warlord in Owari province was due to his rational, unorthodox thinking and appetite for innovation. Nobunaga promoted people based on merit and even appointed a black slave, presented to him by Christian missionaries, as a retainer. He quickly adopted firearms, which had arrived in Japan in 1543 when a Portuguese ship drifted ashore on Tanegashima Island. The local lord had swordsmiths study the weapon and eventually created replicas. Production later expanded in places like Sakai and Kunitomo, making Japan the world's largest firearm producer at the time. European technology in general also helped improve Japanese craftsmanship. Also, sweets brought by missionaries evolved uniquely in Japan, giving rise to wagashi such as castella and conpeito, which are still popular today. Castella likely comes from Castella, the Portuguese word for Castile in Spain, and may be based on Spanish bizcocho or Portuguese pão de ló. Conpeito comes from the Portuguese sugar candy confeito. But this era was always fragile. Throughout the period, betrayal was a constant risk. In 1582, just as Nobunaga was on the brink of unifying the country, he was betrayed by his retainer Akechi Mitsuhide and took his own life. Toyotomi Hideyoshi. After Nobunaga's sudden death, power was inherited by Hashiba Hideyoshi, later known as Toyotomi Hideyoshi. His origins were so obscure that few knew anything about his background, but he had risen through the ranks under Nobunaga thanks to his exceptional talent. When Nobunaga was killed, Hideyoshi was in the middle of a campaign against the powerful Mori clan. But upon hearing the news, he quickly returned and defeated Mitsuhide. He then won the battle over succession, built Osaka Castle, and made it the seat of his new regime. In 1585, Hideyoshi became the first warrior to be appointed Kampaku, imperial regent. He was granted the family name Toyotomi by the emperor and became Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Supported by 5 senior daimyo, he established a firm political base and, by 1590, succeeded in unifying the country. As he consolidated power, Hideyoshi launched land surveys and reformed the land system. He also issued laws to stop feudal infighting, such as the Sobuji-rei, ban on private wars, and Kenka-Teishi-rei, order to cease brawls. His famous sword hunt policy disarmed the peasantry and effectively brought the Warring States period to a close. Around this time, Christians in Japan began destroying shrines and temples, causing concern. Christianity had first arrived in 1549 via Jesuit missionary Francis Xavier and had gained popularity, especially under Nobunaga's relatively tolerant rule. Even some samurai and daimyo converted. However, when Hideyoshi learned that Jesuits were involved in the slave trade, selling Japanese people to Europe, he ordered the expulsion of missionaries in 1587. At that point, he didn't ban ordinary people from practicing the faith. But in 1596, after the San Felipe incident, his stance changed dramatically. A Spanish ship ran aground in Japan, and its pilot allegedly revealed that missionaries were sent worldwide to convert people and pave the way for conquest. Alarmed, Hideyoshi launched full-scale persecution of Christianity. Having unified Japan, Hideyoshi set his sights on conquering the Ming dynasty of China. In 1592, after Joseon dynasty refused to become a Japanese vassal and guide them to China, he sent over 150,000 troops to the Korean peninsula. Facing them were 195,000 Korean soldiers and 53,000 Ming reinforcements, making this one of the largest military conflicts since the Mongol invasions 300 years earlier. The Japanese captured Hansongbu, now center of Seoul, within 21 days, but the arrival of Chinese forces led to a stalemate. Exhausted by the prolonged campaign, both sides agreed to a truce in 1593. Interestingly, each side lied about the truce, each claiming the other had surrendered. Joseon dynasty, meanwhile, was left out of the negotiations altogether. Believing Japan had surrendered, the Ming sent an envoy in 1596 to offer Hideyoshi a royal title. Furious, Hideyoshi launched a second invasion in 1597, but in 1598, Hideyoshi died of illness. With domestic instability on the rise, Japan had no choice but to withdraw. His true motivation for invading Ming China remains unclear. Some say it was originally Nobunaga's idea. In any case, as a man shaped by a world ruled by force, Hideyoshi may have felt the need to keep proving his power in order to maintain authority. Battle of Sekigahara. After Hideyoshi's death, a council of 5 senior lords, Go-Tairo, and 5 top bureaucrats, Go-Bugyo, was meant to collectively govern Japan according to his will. However, Tokugawa Ieyasu, one of the 5 great elders, broke away from the council system and began forming alliances with other lords to expand his own power. This led to a split between those who supported Ieyasu and those who opposed him. When Maeda Toshii, a key figure loyal to Hideyoshi, passed away and Hideyoshi's ally Ishida Mitsunari was ousted, the anti-Ieyasu camp collapsed. Many switched sides and Ieyasu seized control. While Ieyasu was away preparing to suppress a rebellion by Uesugi Kagekatsu, Mitsunari gathered those who resented Ieyasu's growing power and raised an army. He formed the Western Army under the nominal leadership of Mori Terumoto to confront Ieyasu's Eastern Army. In 1600, the two sides clashed in the decisive Battle of Sekigahara in present-day Gifu. The battle was over in under 6 hours, ending in Ieyasu's victory. In 1603, Tokugawa Ieyasu was appointed shogun and established the Tokugawa shogunate in Edo in present-day Tokyo, marking the start of a new era.